Dan Nigro and Olivia Rodrigo.
Love. Heart and soul.
How did they stretch you and challenge you creatively?
I think for me, that was such a fun room to go into it and continue to go into with them because their chemistry is like electric. Like they lock in together in a way that is so beautiful and amazing and natural. And so to be like the foreign entity that's brought into that could have been hard and weird. And I think figuring out my place because, Olivia is a phenomenal writer and Dan is a great writer too and a phenomenal producer. And like they don't need a third party in there. But to be asked to go in there because they like what I do and get to do what I do and be a part of it, that was, I think, such a learning experience. Just figuring out how to fit within their like very tight-knit, beautiful, like, chemistry that they have and figuring out how I can do what I do within it. And
how'd you fit
I
in?
learned so much from her. Olivia is a storyteller that I think is exactly what I was saying, where it's like there's nothing that's said that doesn't need to be said. The first time I heard Driver's License, I was like, oh, this girl is like telling the story start to finish. Not the hard thing about songwriting is you can go off onto these different tangents and then find yourself somewhere where you should not be to tell the story that you're trying to tell. And she just like tells it really seamlessly and directly and beautifully and is very profound and prolific. And I learned from her all the time with that. Like I learned from Driver's License because that chorus is this like evolving chorus where like it just keeps going, where in my brain I would have had a cadence. I would have like ended it way sooner than it ends. And my pop brain was like, wait, this is still, we can't keep there can't be more lyric and lyric and lyric. And it's like, that's what makes that song brilliant. And that's why somebody is like her is always inspiring to me because they're coming from a place of like, they're not being confined to the rules because she was just making that song in her room and like doing what felt right. And that spoke to everybody. And that's why sometimes knowing the rules is like, you need to break them all the time.
Dude, knowing the rules is sometimes like the worst thing.
The worst thing.
And I like think about that like as a kid, like growing up and like figuring my shit out. Like the only reason I got here is because like I didn't know rules.
Yeah.
Like I had
same.
Yeah. Like I
went to Berkeley and I don't know any music theory, which is embarrassing. My parents probably don't want to hear that. But like I do think it helped me in a way because I'm like, I'm not confined to being, well, this chord must come after this chord because this is like the natural progression of what that, and I'm just like, I just kind of roll with it. Which is what you do too. And it's like your gut is, I usually feel like what people connect to.
Pretty isn't pretty. How'd your gut come through?
I love that song. That's like the type of song, as a songwriter, you like dream of having that type of song because it's a really hard subject to write about. Like talking about like being a woman and like what it means to live up to like beauty standards and what it means to be like a coming of age person in an industry that can be really cruel and competitive. And there's so many things. Or if you're not in that industry and you're just like I was growing up in Maine as like, 18-year-old being like, fuck, like everybody's always like looking a certain way. And I feel like these crazy standards to like be a certain way or do something. And that is one of those sentiments as a songwriter that's really hard to write without it being like preachy or like, I don't know, like kitschy or whatever. And I was really grateful that I got to do that with Olivia and Dan because it just came out exactly how I would have dreamed that would come out, which is just like honest and real and like, just like you were saying it to a friend, which I really appreciate. And I feel like it can resonate with a lot of young people because it is like, especially with social media and all this shit these days, I'm like, if I was 18 coming up in like with TikTok right now, I think I would have been derailed 9,000 times by now.
Yeah.
Like, what? I feel like all we really had to like do was compare ourselves to like our classmates and like people in like movies. And now
that was
like,
enough.
That was enough. I was like, 10 things I hate about you. I was like, I got to live up to that beauty standard. And now I'm like, now you look back at those girls and you're like, they were like, like that's not like so beautiful. But now everybody looks like alien beauty, like insane, and it's just, I don't know. I was really grateful to have that moment with her because I think it's a really important message, like right now more than ever.
How'd that song begin? Was it a lyric? Was it a message? Was it a...
Definitely from Olivia talking about, just, I don't know, being a woman right now in the world, and which I can obviously relate to. So, yeah. And like just her references of who she loves to listen to and how she loves rock and so many things that I grew up listening to and I love. Like a lot of like 90s women rock is like that's like my pride and joy. So yeah, I don't know. That day was fun.
You've made some incredible music. You're an incredible artist.
Thanks, friend.
You're very special. It's really wild. It's pretty cool.
I feel like we should do this every week.
We could. You can come hang.